There's only one thing worse than being a joke. It's not knowing you're a joke. Not aware of the fact that the world looks at you as just a complete and total imposter. There's nothing worse than that. It's okay to be a joke. It's okay. It happens. But when you don't realize it, when you don't recognize it, when you think that by virtue of this self-imposed self-entitlement, that this parallel universe that you live in, when you think, I don't have to worry about anything anymore because I'm Fani Willis. I can say whatever I want. And whenever I feel like it, I'll go to a church and I'll tell them that my troubles are basically the product of my being a black woman, a proud woman, a talented woman, a strong woman, a good woman. And that references to my name as Fanny is the hyper or over-sexualization of me by virtue of emphasizing Fanny as in derriere, as in the Seattle-Pygian references to the butox. Even though Maxine Waters refers to Fanny, everybody does. Everybody. Nobody says Fawny. Nobody. But selectively, if you do, and if you're white, or if you're just somebody that she selects as the loathed person of the week, you get pointed out as being some type of a racist, misogynistic, or misogynoir. The term racism, listen carefully, the term racism and racist has now joined anti-Semitic as this overused, over-habituated, for all practical purposes, meaningless term that's used by everybody whenever something happens that you don't like. If you fail, you're a racist. The person making accusations of the failure. Don't worry, Fanny, it's not you. You didn't fail. They're racist. You're not making a fool out of yourself. They are. When they say the name Fanny, which 99% of the population does, it's because of, and this one caught me, a kind of an over or hypersexualized referencing to her rear end. If you had told me before she said this, if you told me, Fani Willis just said this, I would say, no, she's not. She's not stupid. But you see, the real problem is something which is even more dangerous. And it's almost, dare I say, psychological. It's almost a personality disorder. You see, I mentioned to you before that she lives in this world of kind of like this entitled Fanny. She can say whatever she wants. When the story came out about her and her boyfriend, Nathan, all she had to do was say, and listen to me carefully, listen carefully. All she had to do was say, yeah, that's my boyfriend. We are lovers. And I hired him because we are lovers. I hired him specifically because we are having sex. Because I can hire anybody I want for any reason. I have full and total discretion as to my staff and whom I appoint and employ. And there's nothing you can do about it. That's all she had to say. There was no conflict of interest. None. Because she had no stake in the case. Let me say this again. There was and is no conflict of interest per se in her hiring or employing or using someone that she happens to be enjoying an amorous relationship with. Now that may confound you, that may seem counterintuitive, that may seem plain wrong to you, but it's the truth. Because she doesn't have a stake in the case. Now, if Mr. Wade had been, let's say, a police officer or an investigator or maybe a lawyer for the other team, that's okay. In fact, if I recall my facts, there are members of the defense team who are themselves married. So it doesn't matter. I mean, it's not a conflict of interest for them. I know it's different. It's private retained counsel. But understand what we're talking about right here. She didn't have to do this. She didn't have to even say anything about this. But she did. Because she's Fanny. She's entitled. How dare you? How dare you question her? I can do whatever I want. This is a woman who comes from a unique background. Raised by a radicalized father, member of the Black Panthers, and all his life still makes references, racist claims referring to people by racial epithets. This is the mentality. This is what she's raised with, by, and under. This radicalized, hyper-racialized prism. Everything's race. Everything. Race is the reason for your failure. Race is a reason for your accusations, criticism, through the prism of race. Yet, whenever race is used as a means of elevation, I don't want to use the DEI reference. I'm not saying that, others do. But when you use race as a benefit, as a cudgel, as a fulcrum, as a lever, that's okay. This is a woman who could have said, as I said, remember, she could have said, listen, Nathan Wade is my boyfriend and that's it. No, she came up with this ridiculous story about how she decided that she was going to, what's the word? Oh, yes, money. She was going to pay him back thousands, tens of thousands of dollars, which she happened to have in a safe. And if I didn't misunderstand her, she said that basically it was campaign funds or something, which opens up another problem. She doesn't even know what she's saying. She doesn't know what she's saying. She doesn't care. She's Fanny. She's entitled. The arrogance queen. She's arrogant. She's mean. She's not nice. But she has a future in Fulton County. Who knows if there's a congressional seat or something? Don't be surprised if you don't see her. But she'll never go on the national stage. Beyond that, no. She's trouble. People stay away from her. Ooh, she is radioactive. Remember when she and Nathan said, when the information was presented to her as far as cell phone tracking, there was a particular cell phone tracking service that her office uses in the course of prosecutions and the like. And she and Nathan said, well, that doesn't mean that we were there. That doesn't mean anything. That doesn't mean anything. What about the scores of defendants you've charged with crimes and use this particular service as a means of tracking? What about that? She doesn't even realize what she's saying. Because you dared to question the entitled one, the arrogance queen. That's what that's about. Oh, be not mistaken, my friends. Be not mistaken, be not mistaken. Every single thing that ever happens to her is never her fault if it's bad. It's you, us, we, the world. It's this racist, misogynistic, misogynoir group of people who don't understand how lucky we are to live in a world, to live in a country with such unmitigated, ineffable juridical talent, such as Fani Willis. She will be disqualified from this case. She will never step foot near the prosecution of Donald Trump for anything. And she blew her big chance because this was the biggest case of the four in the country and in the history of American jurisprudence. And she blew it. She did. Not because she's black, not because she's a woman, but because she's Fanny. What do you think, dear friend? Subscribe herein and comment as you see fit.